This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
All right. Welcome to Chicago. Apparently the audio is not working with us today with the music. It kind of froze there, but welcome to Chicago. Coming from the 606 Media Studios, this is the TCSF podcast with Big Z and E-Rock. What is up, gentlemen? Well, it's just one now today because everyone left us alone. What up, E-Rock?
Look, when the boss is away, was the cat's away, the mice will play, whatever you say. Hey, look, when there's not a lot of great things to talk about in Chicago sports, everyone seems to abandon the show. So, I mean, that's how it goes.
I mean, it don't matter. We could talk for hours, so that's not a problem for us. So don't you worry, fans. We got lots to talk about. Episode 202 is brought to you by 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to go to gritclothingco.com and get your official TCSF podcast t-shirt. Use our promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order. That is TrueFan15. Get your shirts now. If you're watching on Facebook, give us a 5-star review, drop some comments, some love. We greatly appreciate it. It'll shoot us up on the charts, which we're doing well, but we need a little bit more help. And you can also support the show by going to anchor.fm/True Chicago Sports Fans and go and click on the support button. You can subscribe for as little as 99 cents a month. No inflation added, so don't worry about that. In this episode with E-Rock, we are going to be talking about the Chicago Bulls and the trade they made for DeRozen going to the West Coast. We got Angel Reese and the Sky flying high. Chicago baseball, the Cubs take the halo from the Angels at Wrigley, and the Sox get finned in Miami by a familiar face. And then we'll wrap up the show with one of our staples, and this week it'll be, again, what are you watching? So, E-Rock, let's talk basketball. And let's go into the Bulls trade, which is the Bulls veteran forward DeMar DeRozan heading to Sacramento in a sign-and trade. And this time, this is according to Woj, for Chris Duarte, 2 second-round picks and cash are being sent to the Bulls. The Kings are sending Harrison Barnes and an unprotected 2031 pick to the San Antonio Spurs. And DeRozan gets a 3-year, $74 million with Sacramento. What's your impression of this trade, man?
I mean, we all know that DeRozan was always, clogging up what they were trying to do, right? I think with the addition of Josh Giddey, I think with the anticipation that Zach is going to come back at some point after he blocked the trade to Detroit, in the middle of the season, they had to do something with him. He was going to be a free agent, so they did a sign and trade. They got something back. They got their favorite thing back, cash considerations, right? That's, I still want that jersey in the back that just has considerations with a big dollar sign instead of a number, right? But look, Duarte, he played for the Pacers. He played for the Kings. I mean, you got something there. So, I mean, at least you didn't just completely let him go for free. He wanted the maximum amount of money that he could get. So that's why they ended up doing it that way. But look, we can see that the weird thing is you didn't see him. I think it was something like 30 months where they did not trade for another human, right? It was always cash. It was always something stupid, right? Picks, if that. I think the good thing is that they actually got something for him. I think it's the most you really could have got for him, considering you didn't get what you wanted to get out of AC. I think somebody offered him like a couple first-round picks during mid-season, and they were holding it tight. But one thing that I heard that was interesting today was that, is it possible that, because you look at the first year that AK and Acme, AK Mark Eversley had with the Bulls, right, in free agency, they went nuts. They signed DeRozan. You saw the move for Vooch. You saw a lot of movement going on. You saw
for the ball. The tampering.
And then you didn't see anything for 2 seasons. So someone on the radio brought up, is it possible, they says, this is how much money I can give you right now, and if you spend, it's kind of like, hey, here's $20, don't spend it all in one place. Well, they spent it all in one place, and they were actually restricted. Here's a theory. Were they restricted for the last 30 months, And now that they're like, hey, man, this is not working, because that's a very Reinsdorf things to do, to kind of hold you in a holding pattern because, hey, let's run it back. Let's run it back. They love that crap. Let's run it back. Oh, no, look at these guys. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I really do think that's a possibility because we've seen what Reinsdorf have done with both of the teams, where he tells the GMs and presidents what to do. I need more money, or I want to make this trade, but I need can you loosen the purse strings a little bit? And he's like, nope. Actually, I'm going to tighten them even more, and we're going to sell dollar hot dogs. It just makes no sense what this owner is doing with both organizations. You could have traded Caruso for a couple of first-round picks. You could have traded DeRozen and gotten a bigger bag during the trade deadline, and you ended up just getting Josh Giddey, Chris Duarte, 2 second-round picks, and cash for 2 really good players. I would say DeMar DeRozan's towards the twilight of his career. Obviously, he's a good player. Alex Caruso, a good player, and the only reason he's not great is because he can't stay healthy. But Alex Caruso is a glue guy and attitude adjustment kind of to a clubhouse where I'm going to play really hard and it's going to catch on. And DeMar DeRozan is just the consummate professional who's just going to go out there and score. The hours after he was announced that being traded to Sacramento, he was at the summer league for Sacramento and watching those guys play. So that's the class act that he is, because when he was here, he went to Io's Hall of Fame or his jersey retiring ceremony. During the summer league, he'd be out there. He's just a professional basketball player, and he wants to incorporate the youth into the team and build that community. So, I mean, Duarte is a piece. Yeah, he's a king. He plays 59 games. He averaged 4 points, 2 rebounds. He really just didn't fit into the offense over there. In the first couple of seasons with Indiana, he averaged 11 points and almost 3.5 rebounds. So it's a big drop off. And I think if he's given playing time with the Bulls, which obviously there's going to be playing time, he should flourish a little better than what he did over there.
Well, DeMar going over to the summer league for the Kings, it really reminds me of Keenan Allen showing up at the pro day for Caleb Williams, right? You understand what it is to be an elder statesman, someone especially new to the team, new to the dynamic of the situation that you're going into, and understanding that, hey, showing support. Because I mean, one of the things, it was funny because Mike Logic posted on Facebook today about is DeMar DeRozan a Hall of Famer? And I mean, to be fair, basketball, everyone gets in. Like, if you're decent, everyone gets in. And he's like, I think the top 36 scorer of all time in NBA, whatever it was some number like that. But I'm like,
he's right behind Steph, yeah.
And my first reaction was like, if he wins a ring, yes. But that was my first reaction just thinking about it. Now, if you put it in that context, I mean, like I said, it's not the NBA Hall of Fame, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame, it's the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. So you get college players, you got like Christian Laettner as one of the best college players of all time, things like that. Not a great NBA career, but it is true that you see that movement between all leagues, all announcers, everyone just kind of goes into that same Hall of Fame. So in that sense, yeah. So like seeing DeRozan take that, and he did the same thing here. I mean, he did the same thing here. The problem is that his game is old school. He's not a new school type of player. He can't shoot them threes. He tried. We seen him last year trying to shoot threes because Zach was out, right? AC, he bumped up his game a little bit with shooting threes, but he's not an offensive threat whatsoever, really. So, I mean, now you're trying to, when you're sitting there trying to like revamp, regroup, and see what you're doing. Right now, it's a youth movement. And, I don't really expect anything out of this team. But the thing that really annoys me is that it took this long to get to this point. And especially the fact that they're trying to trade Zach, they're trying to trade Vooch. You just gave them both them deals not that long ago. And now you want someone to take money.
Yeah, the Zach's deal is pretty much crazy. There's a report, and what credibility this is, but I mean, I kind of do like it. Zach LaVine to Miami for Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and the 2026 second round pick. We're gonna have a lot of second round picks. Via the Lakers. And then the Heat received Zach LaVine, a 2029 first round pick, because you've got to be able to entice people to take his contract, and a 2028 second round pick. I mean, we're getting out of the contract. Hero and Robinson have expiring contracts. They're gritty players. They're kind of, in the they're in the Caruso realm of being gritty players. Problem is that those guys are usually hurt as well. They do open up the floor, but they're better 3-point shooters, and it'll allow the youth to play. So it'll be crazy to give up on Zach right after you gave him the bag. But at this point, it is a total rebuild.
I mean, you look at the roster up and down. It's a weird ass roster right now because they still haven't updated the website. So you still have DeRozen on here, right? You look at who do they have here? Andrew Funk, never heard of that guy, but apparently he has a contract. Lonzo, okay, never heard of that guy because I haven't seen him in like 3 years. You got Giddy, you got Javon Carter, who was supposed to be something last year. We really didn't see much out of him. Of course, you got Zach and his, Zach is Zach. We know that is. You got Vooch, you got Io. Of course, you got Kobe White, Torrey Craig. Torrey Craig was just a guy last year. We expected him to be kind of a booster to the rest of the team. Yep. Julian Phillips, could you tell me who that is? No, you cannot.
Yep. He is on the Bulls.
On the rule rap, I mean Bidham. Okay, yeah, I know who that is, and that's Mike Logic. And then Sango, that's again Javonte Green. But you're talking about free agent, right? Dalen Terry, what a waste of time. And Henry Drell, whoever that guy is. So I mean, it's just like and I know it's early enough in free agency where you're gonna have to fill in gaps here and there. But I mean, man, I have no idea what to expect out of this team. It's gonna be Kobe. It has to be Kobe White's team right now. It has to be Kobe White's team. And let me once again state this: Patrick Williams has to step up. The whole rest of this season, the whole rest of the next 3-4 years, whatever they sign him for, depends on what Pat Will does. You got no DeRozen there. Pick up the minutes.
Well, that's the thing is that we don't want the Bulls to win, right? And that's kind of sad because now we're wasting Kobe White's talent. Because if they're going to be able to trade Zach, they're going to give him away.
He's only 24.
I know, but you're still wasting the years on a cheap contract because he's getting paid less than Patrick Williams, and Patrick Williams has done no production, which makes no sense. But Vooch, you'll give him away again. You're literally going to get nothing but second round picks and cash considerations for the next two guys that we trade off, and then we have the youth movement. And are we going to be able to lose enough to not be a 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 draft pick? You want to be in the lottery. You want to be in the top 3 to be able to get a difference maker to pair with this young crew. That's what we need. So
best case scenario right now for the Bulls is if they were on the West Coast, because there's no way you're making a 7, 8 seed in the West Coast. They should hey, you Earthworm Jim looking to. You know what I'm talking about?
I do. I played the game. Sega.
Hey, could you maybe do a quick realignment so we can get over there so we can be bad, like really bad, really bad? I mean, because that the East is not that strong, despite Boston, despite Miami still always hanging around, despite what the Knicks have been able to do, they could still sneak in on accident. An accident. Think about
that. The Reinsdorf way. Is the Reinsdorf way. Just hang around to see what happens. JC, welcome to the show. I see you have a nice
welcome, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Perfect. I have a makeshift setup today, not in the studio, if you will.
Uh-oh. They kicked you out of the studio?
No, I'm up at the lake house, so, not at the normal crib. So
nice.
I got a little makeup setup, if you
will. Love it. JC, you have any thoughts on this Bulls transactions that we've had?
I mean, we got 2 seconds. It was announced today. We got 2 seconds from the Spurs for DeRozen, which, I mean, you got what you could out of them. Is it necessarily what you want to see out of them? No, I would have liked the first. But, again, it was a sign and trade. We weren't going to keep them. So we got 2 seconds out of it. We got what we could. I was sitting here listening to you guys talk about Vooch and all these other guys, Levine and whatever. Trade them. Basically, what we want is we want to be in, like you said, that lottery. We want to be in that top 10 so that we do not have to give this pick to the Spurs. And I forget the gentleman's name. Flag, is it?
Did he freeze there?
He's. You guys got me?
You're good with me.
There we go.
I was gonna say, I think Jose froze up on me.
He did.
But Flag is the gentleman, everyone's after. So,
Yep.
the better our chances for him, the better we are. So to me, we want to be in that losing game. So Vooch and Levine, they don't equal losses, they equal mediocre. So if we're gonna rebuild, let's do it. Let's rebuild already. Let's stop messing around. Let's stop playing games. We need a youth movement. We've been putting together these veteran teams year after year that they're mediocre. And, you watch all these teams, the Celtics, the Suns, and all these teams that, go through the full rebuild. They go through the lottery pick system. They get these younger players, and then all of a sudden they bring in a veteran like Durant or someone that wants to play with some of these older guys, and it does them the service. So to me, it's a disservice to keep just doing what we're doing. Let's call it what it is. Let's break it down, and let's start fresh.
Yeah, I mean, literally, we are the city of rebuild. If you look at every one of our teams, the Bears were 7-10 in a rebuild. Bulls are in a rebuild. Cubs, they should be playing, but they might be in another retool and more than a rebuild. The Blackhawks are definitely in another rebuild. And the Sky are also in a rebuild. So we are the city of rebuilds, not shoulders. We like construction. If you have ever been driven down any one of our streets with potholes or our expressways, it is always under construction. So we are the city of reconstruction.
There is a reason why I'm not wearing any affiliate sports athletics team hat today. I just can't support any of our teams. It's everything is ugly right now.
Bro, I swear to God,
the Bears,
you weren't wearing any underwear.
No. Like I said, it's non-affiliated team hats. It's my company logo. So, like I said, today I cannot support any of our teams. Like I said, it's ugly out there. I mean, the Bears are probably the only team that I can, wishfully support right now, and that's because they haven't played a game yet.
You want to know the irony of what you just said is that I'm wearing a black Chicago Cubs hat and Z's wearing a red, white, and blue Chicago White Sox hat, and all it says is on the front of Chicago.
Yeah, that's generic as hell. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I want to bring up
definitely keeping it generic.
A 2-year-old topic real quick, just because I want to name drop. So yesterday I was hanging out with Mike Logic at the crib, and DJ Nonstop. I don't know. You know who that is? That's DMX's personal DJ. Which he was like, "Hey, you like DMX?" And I was like, eh. And he's like, "Oh, well, check this out." And he was like showing me all these videos of on stage with him, and I'm like, "Oh, this crap." But I did pose to him that question: Derrick Rose. Were you more excited about Derrick Rose or Justin Fields at the time? And immediately he said Derrick Rose. And there's something to be said about having a Chicago kid on your team and all that stuff. So it was just kind of interesting to kind of trigger that memory. After all the chaos that question has caused in the past couple of years.
Definitely.
Well, I think the thing with Derrick Rose also is like, he was touted as such a great player coming out of college. And the fact that the Bulls were never supposed to have an opportunity to draft him.
No.
So you had that fact in that, like, we got the lottery pick that we got in order to get him. I mean, just add that on. And I mean, it was just super special for him to be on the Bulls.
That's probably what the price we're paying right now. He's like, you're not allowed to compete because I did you that favor.
Yeah.
All right. Let's slide over to the other basketball team who is rebuilding. The Chicago Sky got one of the best. Got the best of Seattle Storm on Friday, and then split the series a couple days later on Sunday. Rookie Angel Reese, 17 and 14 on Sunday to breaking Candace Parker's double record of 12 games in a row. She broke it with 13. You also had Kennedy Carter. That girl's got a dog motor, 21 points. Not enough to beat the Storm on Sunday. I watched a recap of that game. Wasn't able to watch the full game, but the recap. What I we'll see was that we don't have enough 3-point shooting, and I think our rebounding is lacking.
You want to know something interesting about that record that Angel Reese just got is that I'm seeing a lot of people, and I will say gently say non-people of color, and you know what that means. And they're saying that, yeah, and they're saying, but
why you call them Blancos out, eh?
Straight from the lake house too. But they're saying basically
haters gonna hate
that the media is shoving Angel Reese down our throats and trying to put down Caitlin Clark in the process. And I don't understand why you can't have two great players at the same time. What is the problem with having two great players? And someone was like, well, the heterosexual white girl is being pressed. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, this is such a nonsense thing. And she had a triple double. And while Angel Reese is getting the double doubles, and they're like, no one talked about that. And I'm like literally showing you a graphic from Clutch Points where it shows one and then the other right next to him. Why can't the simple fact is this: is if you look at the WNBA All-Star voting last year, the top vote getter got like 36,000. This year it's in the triple, like it's 300,000 people or whatever it is. Why can't you just be glad that you have two budding superstars who are taking the entire league by storm? Now, Caitlin Clark has had to deal with her lumps. Everyone kind of with the elbow. Kennedy Carter is is one of them. I mean, it's what it is. But I mean, like, why can't we have it where they coexist? Why does it have to be one versus the other or one over the other? I just don't understand that. Why can't it be both?
I really think it's non-basketball or non-sports people that have the biggest problem with this, because if you are a sports addict, a sports enthusiast, you love other players in the league. You can respect them. We had Jordan. We were spoiled, but we respected Patrick Ewing for who he was. We respected Reggie Miller for being a threat from the outside. You had Alonzo Mourning with Miami. You had John Starks, who was a dirty player. You had John Starks and Karl Malone and Sean Kemp. I mean, we can go all day, right? With naming basketball players who played along in that same era, and they were great, but our guy was better because he had the championships. So right now, they're both great. And until they're winning championships, we shouldn't be measuring up who's better than the other, because both teams really suck at the end. All right. They're both great individuals, but as a team, they're both on shitty teams. Let's just be honest. So Caitlin Clark is great. Yes, she can be like Magic Johnson and get a triple-double, or she can be like Steph Curry and shoot the three from the logo. That's great. That's not Angel Reese's game.
Mm-hmm.
She does the down and dirty, get rebounds, tip it back in. I'm going to shoot my 10-footer. And that's what she's going to do. Two different games. I can appreciate both because I'm a sports fan. It's the non-sports fans who are barely coming to a women's league and they're not supporting it. They're being divisive. And that is not good for the sport.
To be fair, a lot of the rebounds that
it's because she misses her own shot.
Her own bricks, you know what I mean, under the basket. But I mean, and that's another thing that, like there's a lot of chatter about that. But I mean, it was just and maybe, you know what, every once in a while, I guess I catch myself ignorant to that fact where like you're still going to have that narrative out there. And it's the same reason why every time it's the first black this, it's the first, women's that. Like, why can't it just be the first? I'm like, because it matters until it don't matter. And it has never not mattered. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The Storm tried to troll us. They tweeted out, you thought you were going to end your road trip with a dub, didn't you? Heavy emphasis on you thought. Storm on top. This is a question for both of you. How do you like media teams for sports teams posting stuff on Twitter, on Instagram, on X and whatever? Do you like that those marketing teams are able to troll other players and other teams? JC, I think you're muted.
Your audio.
No audio.
Sorry about that. I mean, if they want to catch hands, sure, why not? I mean, they can say whatever they want. But I mean, to me, if you're not on the court, you probably should not be saying a whole lot of smack. as for the resident white guy on the show, I mean, with the Angel Reese situation and stuff like that, I mean, I like her. I like her as a player. I like her everything. My only thing was, after the Sky played Caitlin Clark that one game, and the unnecessary foul, and then Angel Reese shot up off the bench and started cheering her teammate for taking an unnecessary shot. To me, like, that reminded me of the old school Pistons, where like they were just beating the heck out of Michael Jordan. And to me, it was just like, it's unnecessary. Like, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it was a hard foul, but you didn't need to jump off the bench like that and start screaming and hollering and cheering your teammate for an excessive, unnecessary foul. But to me, like, you sit there and look at, like, Angel Reese fell to us at 8. Name me the other 6 girls that are better than her. I understand Caitlin Clark, but who are the other 6? Because I mean, Angel Reese is, the second best as far as I can tell. I know a couple of them are hurt and, potentially, may come back next year and play better than Angel Reese. But right now I'm sitting here just like, who are these other 6 girls? Because I just, Angel's playing well, and I'm not taking anything away from her. She's been a double machine, which, yes, I've seen the ongoing joke where, you know, she puts up a layup and it doesn't go in, and then she gets her own rebound and puts up another shot and that goes to the other side of the rim, and then she gets the rebound on that side of the rim. So yeah, I've seen kind of those memes and jokes where, all of her offense or all of her rebounds are her own shots. But like as for the Storm trolling, like I said, I mean, what's their record anyway? Who cares?
Their second. They were first as of last Friday. Now they're second after Sunday in the Western Division.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you why I don't mind the media, the especially the social media crew, posting shit like that. We're talking about it. You are trying to boost up a league, especially in a time where you got, again, 2 budding superstars. And let's not forget about Aja Wilson. Like, there's a lot of players out there, and that's why Caitlin Clark gets a lot of the problems and the elbows and all the nonsense from Diana Taurasi and all the old school players have been there for 20 years. You know what I mean? But like, when you're sitting there and you're really in a position to really get more and more and more eyes on the league every week, every day, because you got to remember, there's only 12 teams in this league. There's only 12 teams in this league. So you're going to have a lot more tight rivalries versus, because you're going to play the same teams over and over and over again. So I'm good with it, because it's not like we can have, like, whoever in the media room, the one that's controlling Twitter, but for the Sky, what are they going to have, a celebrity boxing match? It's 2 people you don't know. Who cares? Talk all the trash you want. I mean, isn't that what we loved about the bad boy Pistons versus the Bulls, is that they were always at each other's throat. When the Bulls were going up against the Knicks and Spike Lee and all this stuff, that's what we loved about it. I mean, the rivalry between the Bears and the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers, even when we're on the wrong side of history as Bears fans, Aaron Rodgers trash talking all the mess and like, oh, I own you, blah, 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 while I'm high out of my mind and my eyeballs are the size of saucers. Like, that's what we love about it. The rivalry is the best thing about sports. So I'm all for it. And like I said, especially with a league with only 12 teams, you're going to have a much stronger rivalry than you were when you're talking about like NFL, where it's 32 teams and all that stuff. And
go ahead.
And real Cardoso was the number 3 pick. Cameron Brink is a damn good player. And the other thing you got to remember too, when you talk about who are the other 6 better players, Caitlin Clark, you got 5. Cameron Brink, I would take Cameron Brink over Angel Reese, number 1. But number 2, when you feel like Cardoso is not gonna fall to you at 7, and you feel like Angel Reese might, it worked out for them really well. Yeah. Like, you look at, they were able to double back and get Reese. But yeah, I mean, you got to fill needs too. I mean, if you don't need Reese at that position, because you got to remember, in the second round player, they picked Rihanna Maxwell and they waived her already on like 2 months ago. She's already gone.
Yeah. They did. They actually did. So I'm all for it. Hey, I love Wendy's Twitter when they, they're the best at roasting everybody. So you know what? Sky, reach out to Wendy's, get one of those people that is in that marketing department, bring them over and let them start roasting and making comments about other people's teams and whatever. But you need that exposure. You need eyeballs on the sport, not only from your two best players, but anything that can bring eyes to the sport. You're trying to grow the sport. You're in year 25, 26. It's in its infancy. If you look at the same male sports at that point, no one was going to baseball games. No one was going to football games. No one was going to hockey games. You didn't have the crowds. It takes time to grow the sport, and I think it's in the right direction. And it's very exciting right now for Chicago Sky because they're building something from scratch. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, I do it up. I mean, I love that Wendy's Twitter comment. That was dope. I would love to see something like that coming out of the Sky. The only thing I don't like in that sense is that if you're just a completely shit team and there's nothing good about you, shut up. But this guy have something to make noise about, right? So I'm good with that. But you better have something to talk about.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right, let's take a quick break and we'll have a word from our sponsors. We'll come back with some baseball talk. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back after a word from these messages. I am so just like all over the place today. I'm just jumbled up. All right, here we go.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride. So do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15. TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
Hey guys, it's Steven.
And this is Sean, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans.
Don't forget to listen to Nowhere on the Weekend. New episodes on Monday. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, so we're going to go do a couple of shots. So let's kick it back over to Big Z.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the True Chicago. I literally mumbled up today.
What?
Never had this problem. Yeah. Welcome back to the TCSF podcast with E-Rock and Big Z and JC Dynasty Fantasy Football joining us from the Lake House. Fancy. But it's time to
I've invited you guys up, and said we could do the podcast up here, and nobody wants to listen, but it is what it is.
I got about 3 more days.
Listen to the podcast. What are you talking about?
3 more days of what?
Work. I'm off after Wednesday. Yeah, I've been doing summer school, man. Teaching summer school.
Oh, that's right.
I'm babysitting, not teaching. Let me clarify that because literally just sit in front of the computer and like, oh yeah, you can take a test now. Yeah, go ahead, go for it. That's all.
I'll be in Nashville all next week for nationals for softball, and I'm gonna see anyone with a Titans jersey. I'm gonna punch him in the chest. Let them know what's coming.
Let her know it's coming. Let's start with the happier team in Chicago. I guess you can start with that. Let's talk about our Chicago Cubs. We do have 2 Cub fans on with me, and they don't look too happy. But hey, Shota Imamaga made the All-Star team, very deservedly so. So
somebody got to make it.
That's the only thing for the Cubs.
That's just by rule, by default.
Do they have to have a representative? Is that the only sport that makes them do that?
Baseball, every team has to have one player. That's why yep.
I don't think basketball has that rule because I remember Zach Levine was the year that they were supposed to be here. He didn't make the team.
No, baseball.
Yeah, no, basketball doesn't have that rule.
No, it's baseball, 100%.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, you excited about Shota pitching the All-Star game?
Well, you want to know what's funny is that you said the happier the 2 teams, and actually, like, I don't understand how that's possible because we were expected to contend, not be in last place. Right now, I saw graphics floating around saying what a miserable time it is to be a Chicago sports fans. Like you said earlier, rebuild the Blackhawks on the rise, okay, but on the rise with the number 1 and then the number 2 overall pick. The Sky, okay, we're talking about them, but also bottom of the barrel. The Bears, we're all expecting. I think we're all champing at the bit to wait to see like mini camps and like the actual training and all that stuff. But we knew what the White Sox were going to be coming into the season, but the Cubs were supposed to contend. This is not. This team has the highest payroll in the division, and they're at the bottom of the barrel. It's ridiculous. There's nothing about the Cubs that you can be happy about. Great for Shota. He came out on fire, but again, somebody's got to go. So he was the default option.
I think Shota deserved it, whether or not he was the token choice or not. I mean, Shota's just been outstanding for us, but he's the only thing the Cubs have going. Everything else has been rather lackluster and frankly pathetic. There's not much to be cheery and happy about as a Cubs fan. Let me tell you, it's we discussed, I was trying to get these guys to go to a Cubs game with me, earlier last week, and everyone's like, no, we're not paying that kind of money. It was just like, I just wanted to get out, do a thing like, with the podcast guys, get everybody to a game, like enjoy it, everybody together. And it was just like, yeah, no, we're not doing that.
It wasn't against you, JC. It really wasn't, but I wasn't paying that kind of premium money for a last place team, because I know for a fact that E-Rock or you would not be paying that kind of money to go see the trash that's out over at 35th and Shields.
No.
The money, yeah, no. I mean, when I first found some tickets for like, I think it was like $55, like I would have paid that. But then like, those tickets sold, and then like the next best tickets I found were, I think they were like $90. And even I was like, nah, I'm not. I mean, granted, it was the 4th of July. It was the 4th.
Yeah. That's what
so everybody's off that day, ticket prices are a little inflated. But
sorry, guys.
like I said, yeah, I mean, it's sad when you can't even get your guys to get together to go to a game, because you really just don't want to be depressed while you're.
Yeah. I mean, I think we'd be down to get some bleacher seats, but you know what I mean? Like at random, and here's the thing: you wait long enough, guess what? They're just gonna be handing them out. I mean, you're gonna have to fight the college kids for them bleachers, but still, like they're just gonna be like, hey, they're gonna roll up to your crib in a white van, open the door, be like, hey man, you sure you don't want these tickets right here? Come on, man.
Because I'm usually like give me somewhere in the 100, 120s, 129, on the third baseline, not front row, but that middle section out from underneath, let me get a little sun, but I can escape to the bathrooms and whatnot. The bleachers, I've done it before, and
the new bleachers are legit. And let me tell you something, as a full figure gal like myself, I like the little extra booty room to sit around and slide back and forth if I need to. If I want to move, someone says that was my seat, like, I don't see your name on it, and your ticket says the same thing as mine, so I can move as much as I want.
Yeah, we're all
that is true, but for as we get older and huskier, that full sun, it puts a beating on you. So you want a little. You want a little bit of shade sometimes.
I think we've already addressed this. Look, I tan just fine.
I'm not doing too bad. I'm not, I probably look whiter on camera than I do in person. You got a little red to me.
But yeah, we're a little melatonin and challenged over here. Yeah.
I don't got that problem. I don't got that problem.
I know.
But yeah, back to the Cubs. I mean, can we talk about our relief pitcher that broke his hand?
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's what I had out there. Colton Brewer on the 60-day injured list because Sunday.
That just tells you what kind of season we are having right now. Like, this is just pathetic.
I think he was a sabotage to begin with, because how are you going to bring in a dude named Brewer? I mean, that right there told you everything you need to know, because the last time I look, I can't sit here and tell you that I'm watching every single Cubs game, but the last game I seen him pitch, it was against the Brewers, and guess what? He blew it. So I mean, that just seemed like a sabotage from the beginning.
At least you had Carlos Zambrano punch the water cooler. You know, something that was softer that he knew, like, I can punch and not break my hand. Punching the cement wall behind the seats in the dugout, that's probably the most idiotic thing, next to Mike Logic. Not Mike Logic, sorry, Mike. Not Mike Logic. Mike Soriento from the Jersey Shore headbutting the wall.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, like I first saw the story and I was like, this is one of those troll sites. Like, this is a joke. Like, yeah, I mean, because it popped up on my computer feed, and I was like, this has got to be a joke. It's one of those, like, you know, onion type sites, you know, where they're just talking some smack, and then, like I said, all of a sudden, like, it's popping up on more and more feeds, and I'm like,
sports mockery.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah. They called up Hunter Biggie, from AAA Iowa. So yeah,
supposedly he's been killing it in AAA. So.
My favorite though, my favorite is the quote from Brewer. My intention wasn't to break my hand. I'll get frustrated, make mistakes, but that's no excuse. There's a lot I can prove out there that I'm willing not to do stuff like that. No, then why did you do it, man? Come on. It's silly shit. And you want to know the worst thing about it is that we should have seen all this coming when Justin Steele went down the first game of the season. That was a bad omen to begin with. We were optimistic. You know, we got our players back. Let's see. Oh, we got Amaga. Okay. And Amaga came out on fire, right? So let's be honest. Like, that's why he was the all-star for the Cubs. He's been doing great. But I mean, you got Bellinger back, and everyone's like, oh, you couldn't just get Bellinger. Like, why? I still don't understand why they didn't go after Matt Chapman. Why did the Giants get Matt Chapman? Explain that to me. You don't have a third baseman.
Yeah.
You don't have a third baseman. Why did you not sign Matt Chapman? Because you already spent enough money, and you can't even. People are like, "Oh, well, the Cubs are cheap. The Bears, they're not cheap. They're just giving people money because they like signing guys like Jason Hayward for 7-year deals. Because Dansby has it. Like, what happened to Dansby Swanson? Didn't he used to be able to swing a little bit? Was he just the shittiest player on the Braves that won a World Series? I mean, what happened there?
He really was that card that got, into the shuffle, and you just forgot about that card because he was, in the 6-7 spot. He's protected by a bunch of players, that have big bats, and all he had to do was really play defense and, occasionally get on base. He's a 260 hitter, 15 to 20 home run a year. That's what he is. You're paying for his defense, and you're paying probably for the speeches he's making in the clubhouse. I have no idea what else you're paying for unless he's selling hot dogs in the stands. It's really a waste of money, and there's no one that's going to want that contract.
Every time I see him on camera, every time I see him on screen, you know what he's doing? He's taking off his helmet to show off his beautiful head of hair, and he's taking off his batting gloves because he fucking struck out.
And his
wife a grounder into a double play.
Yeah, his wife plays Red Stars. That's why his wife plays for the Red Stars.
100, yeah, that too. So
yeah,
don't hate me because I'm beautiful, old Pantene asshole. Herbal Essence is over here.
All right. So what are the Cubs going to trade Bellinger?
They should.
I was going to say, hopefully. At this point, sell the team. Like, I'm at the point, like, this is the Bulls, like, just clean house, start over.
But Ricketts wants to win. That's the difference. Ricketts actually has invested interest in the team. Like, they want to win.
But when you have teams that are getting paid $80 million, like, there's teams getting paid $80 million, we're paying $200 and we're getting shellacked. I mean,
I think that's more on the general manager, whoever the guy is, because I know Jed Hoyer is the president. No one knows who the general manager is for the Cubs. He's just, kind of like Mark Eversley. You hear about him, but you never see him. They don't address the needs. We've been saying that on this show for about 2.5 years, that the bullpen needs to be fixed. You need to address the bullpen. You need to get a bat that's feared. We've been saying that forever. You know, if we can see this with the naked eye, why can't people who have analytics and departments and scouting and people that have been in baseball for years understand that you need to every year add to your bullpen, because just because one guy had a good year last year does not guarantee he will have a good year this year. Bats will figure out pitchers, pitchers figure out bats. It goes back and forth. That's the whole drama of baseball, right? The adjustments, game by game, series by series, year by year. So what you're having right now is that bullpen was never addressed, it was never bolstered, was never given a couple of fresh faces. All they did was all they did was paint over it, you know. And you know the roaches are still on the wall that you killed, and it is painted over, and the roaches outline is still there. You can see how bad this bullpen has been over and over and over. And I just don't understand. That's been the weak spot your entire time, and you did not get another bat. You could have got Chapman, like Eddie said. You didn't.
The bullpen has been the Achilles heel all year. And the weird thing is that even going back to 2016, they've had this weird hole at the closer position where they've kind of done patchwork. But you know, you see Craig Kimbrell, you saw, what was the guy that they traded Jorge Soler for to the, I forgot that guy's name already. But you know, it's like they completely ignored it. Your big additions to the pen this year were Hector Neris and Kyle Hendricks. Let's be honest. You know, I'm gonna throw a name out there and you tell me if you know who he is. Okay. Carter Hawkins.
Yeah, that's the GM.
Yeah. I had to Google that shit.
Yeah,
and he's been the GM since October of 2021.
Holy shit.
Yeah, think about that right there. So that tells you a lot. Because he found Jose. He was the one that found Jose Ramirez as a scout. So you know he should be the GM of the Cubs. Good job.
Great job, Cubs. Great job.
Yeah. So I mean, like, what it really comes down to is the fact that they just completely and totally ignored the failures and the lack of any star power, lack of experience in the pen, and just let it run wild. They're like, hey, were you a starter in double and triple A? Would you like to be in the Cubs bullpen? Come on down. And that's like, you know what I mean? All those guys that you saw have a couple of starts here, even Wisniewski, like you saw him have a couple of starts here and there last year where he spent time in the pen, right? So, I mean, and look, he pitched great the other day against the Angels. So, I mean, you can do that. But yeah, I think when it comes down to, you look at the failures of the pen, you look at how many blown saves they have. You look at the fact that Justin Steele will go out there and have like 7 great innings. Shota Imanaga have 7 great innings. Cal Hendricks even will have, you know, when he had a couple of great innings or great performances in a row, 7 innings, 6 innings, or whatever it is. And then the pen goes out there and be like, hey, you're up 5-1, you lose 6-5. How is that possible every time? That is the biggest discrepancy. And then your offense is like, well, what the fuck? Why am I? You're just going to blow it in the end anyway. So, you know, why am I going to sit here and kill myself when I know that when it really comes down to the finish line, the rug is going to be pulled underneath me?
Yeah, and it also deters your, you know, it kind of brings down the effort of your starting pitching that has been pretty decent all year. You know, when they have gems, when my guys like, I gave up 1 run in 6 or 7 innings, and then the bullpen blows it. It's like, dude, all you have to do was 3 innings, man. I did most of the legwork for you, you know. And it's on both sides of the time. We'll get to the other side right in a bit, but it's very, very frustrating for starting pitchers who put out good performance, or you know, if you have the offense, which you know you have those bursts of offense where you had 7 runs or 9 runs and stuff like that, but it's not a consistent basis. You're scoring 2 to 3 runs and then blowing your lead late. I think the Cubs lead, or one of the leaders in blown leads in late innings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's you, the Sox, Rockies, and you also have the most out on the base pads. So that those two do not equate to a winning culture, winning team. So it's just pretty bad.
Yeah, no, you know, we have Cade Horton, who, you know, they keep saying they're going to bring up this year.
He's hurt.
You know, I understand he's hurt, but once he went down, you know, we've talked about it for ad nauseum that, you know, Trevor Bauer still out there. Move Hendricks to middle relief. You know, get him out of the starting lineup. Move him to middle relief. Maybe his stuff, you know, for 2-3 innings, you know, he can hold it together for 2-3 innings. He can't hold it together for 5 or 6. he's not the pitcher he once was, and we've talked about this ad nauseum. I don't think at this point, I don't think anybody's going to pick up Trevor Bauer, even though I think the guy deserves to be on the team. But I think the Cubs were holding out that Horton, they would bring him up, maybe that would be the replacement to Hendricks. At this point, I don't think he's going to get brought up until the roster expansion, later in the season. And like I said, I mean, I'm literally sitting here looking at, Cubs prospects, and it's just, I don't know. I'm sitting here.
You know what really, the big thing that sucks is that, I think a lot of us were anticipating Ed Howard coming up and seeing what he could do. He's been injured. And now the latest thing that we hear is about Brendan Davis, who's had a myriad of injuries. He's only 24 years old. And now he broke his back. He has a back fracture. Let's see. 24-year-old outfielder who was a second-round pick of the Cubs 2018. He missed part of the 21 season after getting hit by a pitch in the face in spring training. And then he missed a large portion of the 22 season with back surgery, and he underwent muscle surgery last year, and now he's got a fractured back. So this is a guy that might not ever make it to the bigs, period.
Yeah, I mean, our top 5 prospects, according to, MLB.com, Cade Horton, who's supposed to be coming up this year, Matt Shaw, third baseman, who's supposed to be next year, Owen Casey,
Owen Casey,
something like that. James Triantos and Moises Ballesteros. So like I said, I mean, Ballesteros, he's a catcher. Thank God we need a catcher.
Wasn't that supposed to be Maya? Wasn't he supposed to be the dude?
Yep.
But and then you look at Matt Shaw, third base. That would be nice. We need a third baseman, don't we, guys? Like, so, maybe it's time to start bringing up these younger players, start shedding some of this salary of the older players. Like I said, whether it be Belly, whether it be, I don't know who, Hap,
it
Suzuki.
Sucks to have to reset already. And this is exactly what happened to the White Sox. This is 100% what the White Sox went through, where you thought you had everything set and you brought all your prospects up. I mean, who's left in the, you got Oscar Colas, who was at a cup of coffee, moving up and down a couple of times. But I mean, like, who's there? Who's there?
Lou Bob.
He's already on the team. I'm talking about like who else can you bring
prospects? No, everybody that was part of the original rebuild, it has been called up. It's as simple as that. But for the Cubs, you trade Bellinger because Yankees have been scouting him for about 2 weeks, and Rizzo's prognosis doesn't look good right now. So he can play first and play outfield for Stanton and right. It's a short porch at home. You get home runs because he's left-handed. Boom. Send him out there, get whatever you can for him because he's going to opt out at the end of the year anyway. So get what you can for him. Let's move on. You got kids in the outfield that you can replace them. You can put anybody at first down your team. Everybody plays first. Go sign Bauer. Like JC said, it's not going to cost you much, right? It's not going to cost you much. He signed for a league minimum. We're halfway through the season. That's probably $500,000. All right, here you go. Let's see what you can do. He's been dominating.
That's also operating under the belief that you can actually make something with the second half of the season. Unless you feel like your offense is going to wake up, it's kind of
I would use it as a trial to see if we would sign him again next year.
Right.
Like, hey man, you got half a season left. Let's see what you got. If you can keep your stuff together, we'll sign you next year.
Yeah.
Because Hendricks is gone, and we're gonna need somebody next year to come in and fill a place.
Yeah, you definitely low risk, high reward. Especially, and I know like we're at that point where we're in the middle. We're stuck in the middle with the Cubs. We can't trade it with anybody that we want to keep, and the people that we want to trade are like, I don't know what we can do for him. What can we get from him? I mean, you also have Robinson Cano tearing it up in Mexico, hitting 446 at the age of 41. And I know it's you're like, oh, it's the Mexican League that is the competition to the level. It probably isn't it. It probably is.
Only when he goes against Trevor Bauer.
They're on the same team.
No, I didn't. That's even
They're on the
worse.
same team. Down the Diablos. Yeah, they're on the same team. So they definitely are enjoying having a good time together. You also have Luke Vogt, who left, who was with the Brewers. He was with the Pirates and the Mets, and Yasiel Puig all on that team.
Wow,
they're loaded.
That's like a 2015 All-Star team.
Yeah, fire up the PS3.
There you go.
I mean, who else could we honestly shed salary? Like I said, I mean, like literally just sitting here thinking like Hap, Suzuki.
I don't think you give up on Suzuki yet.
Suzuki is playing like Suzuki plays. Like you right now, what you're seeing out of him is no better or no worse than what you would expect out of him.
Yeah. But I'm just thinking like what we could get shedding salary, saving, going from 200 million down to 150 so that, next year we can potentially pick up some free agents, prospects, and like I said, I look around this team and it's Belly and, yeah, I don't know who else we're paying really big money.
Yeah. It's Belly. It's Hendricks.
Bellinger's the one. Bellinger is the guy that because you also don't control him after this year either. He's got player options two more years. So I mean, you might as well send him to the Yankees or wherever else you want. This is also again, MLB free agency in the last couple of years has been really weird in general, where you're seeing people like sign later and later and later, and especially this last off season where all the Scott Boras clients got essentially froze out until the very end, and that's why, Belly had to resign at the end of the day back with the Cubs in that weird ass deal he got. So,
yeah, but again, thank God, because I mean, imagine if the Cubs paid him what he wanted.
Oh, the $300 million he wanted.
Yeah, I mean, thank God. I mean, because if we paid him what we wanted, we would be in the Soriano, Jason Hayward all over again. So, I mean, I give the Cubs, I give the Cubs 100%, credibility for telling Bellinger, nah, go find somebody else and come back to us, and let's see what we can work out.
They basically told him go test free agency, like you see a lot of football players say, a lot of basketball. Hey, and basketball players won't move, but football players, hey, receiver, you think you should be making more money? You want to reset the market? See what they'll give you. That's how the Bernard Berry went to the Vikings.
All right, let's wrap up baseball with some Sox talk. White Sox are horrible. They're playing right now. No one's watching them. No one's there.
Listen, whenever you see my head go the other direction, I got my eye on them right now.
Yeah, I don't want to. I'll watch at the end of this. They continue to waste good and even great pitching with another reminder this past Sunday night as they lost in the 9th inning to MLB's leading comeback team, the Marlins. Jake Burger, our former third baseman, catcher, first baseman, outfielder, Jake Burger, that guy, Burger Time, of all people, who has not been having a good year, wasn't having a good series, was 0 for 4, comes in for the 9th with 2 strikes and hits a burger bomb and sends the White Sox home with an unhappy meal. This was definitely a series that could have been a sweep for the White Sox.
Yeah. Hey, when you saw him hit that burger bomb, did it make you grimace?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
No,
that's a dad joke,
bro. Listen, I got a question, and this is a serious question. I don't mean no shade. What happened to Tim Anderson?
He got knocked out of the league by Ramirez.
I mean, just bro, what the fuck?
When they said down goes Anderson,
that knockout caused
CTE.
I was gonna say that knockout caused some CTE, just like Antonio Brown, and he ain't ever been the same.
No, he really does have some like off the field issues, where he's had baby mama troubles, females flying down to where he was playing in Miami. And obviously, if you're in Miami, there's hella temptation to do different things out there. And he's not that type of dude to keep the straight and narrow. So, yeah. Anyways, neither here or there. White Sox had pretty good pitching this weekend with the new kids. Drew Thorpe, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Crochet got roughed up at the end of his outing. I think he had like a 47 pitch inning in the 5th inning. He only pitched 4 innings, give up 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. And then Jonathan Cannon, another rookie, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. And you know what? It's really bad because now we have Crochet, we have Cannon, who's come up now, and Thorpe, which is one of the pitchers we got traded for, Dylan Cease, who are actually up already and pitching for the White Sox and producing very quickly. And we're wasting it, just like on the Cubs side, where we're up, and then the 6th, 7th, 8th inning, we're getting outscored. It's ridiculous. The only time we're not outscored, the White Sox is in the 1st, 3rd, and 4th and 5th inning. That's the only ones where, yeah, it's not that bad differential. We're scoring 18 runs. They've scored 33 in the 9th, 32 to 49, 32 to 66 in the 7th. So that means you're middle relief. 31 to 47 in the 6th inning. It's bad. It's bad when your bullpen, which happens to be a Chicago problem, it's really bad. So it's hard to watch. I watch because I want to see the good pitching performances, and I know Lou Bob can do some special things when he's out there. He was great this weekend with his defense. He had a couple good shots out there, but the rest of the team is just, I don't know. I'd rather see the Savannah Bananas out there.
So is Lou Bob going to get traded?
No, there's not enough. There's not enough video, or there's not enough confidence of him staying healthy. He'll get traded in the offseason. He still has a couple of years of control. You'll see him if he.
You don't think there's going to be a team out there trying to make that final push that's going to need a bat that's going to say, "Yo, I'm going to take a chance on you."
We won't get the return that they want. They want the castle and the moat and a couple of boats and some RVs. They want everything. They want a lake house. They want it all.
They want a lake house. Come on, JC, what the hell? Hook them up.
Hey man, I got a great price on my place. I
know you do. You've had it for a while. They do want a king's ransom for both players, more for Crochet. But again, there's not enough confidence in trading Robert because he has not been healthy this year. He had one good season, and the rest of the season he's been on the IL as much as Lou Bob. So Spider-Man, Eloy. So I don't see them get traded until the offseason. As for Crochet, that I think his days may be numbered, and he may be going in someone's bullpen. It would probably be the Orioles, since they have a stacked minor league system, and they're trying to win now, and they're down 3 starting pitchers. This is going to look exactly like the Cease trade that Chris Getz made. He's trying to put his stamp on this team. He's trying to get as many players to make this rebuild, whatever you want to call it. You've seen what he did with Cease. He got a haul for Cease, and it's exactly that. I don't even, just looking at the numbers, you give up a 2022's almost Cy Young winner with 97 starts over 3 seasons. He comes into season with all this pressure of not getting traded, all these rumors, and you trade him to the Padres.
I feel like right now we're in a really weird time of pitching, if that makes sense, because you always had like Madison Baumgartner, what's his name? Clayton Kershaw, the cat with I'm blanking on their name, but the cat in the Rangers with 2 different color eyes.
Is that Scherzer?
Yeah, Max Scherzer. And I'm looking right now at the ERA leader Do you know who the ERA leader in the Major League Baseball is right now?
Yes, it's Reynaldo Lopez.
How?
Because I can tell you exactly how.
Because he plays for Atlanta.
He pitches for Atlanta. What ended up happening is the White Sox let him be super immature and do what he wanted when he was up on the mound. When they put him in the bullpen, he started to understand that he can't just waste an inning or two because they'll get yanked out. So then he goes over to Atlanta, and they're like, look, dude, go out there and just throw. Don't think. You have great mechanics. You have great stuff. Don't worry about the back end. We'll take care of it. Our bats will take care of it. Our bullpen will take care of it. You go out there and you throw. Give me 5 innings of just throwing, and you don't have to blow these guys away. You don't have to throw super hard. Pitch. You can pitch. That's what happened. What ended up happening is it finally clicked for him later on in his year. He's 30 years old, leading the ERA in MLB, and he's doing great.
There are 2 current Atlanta Braves who are top 10 in ERA.
Yeah, Chris Sale.
Reynaldo Lopez is number 1 and Chris Sale is number 8. And look at this list, right? So number 2 is Seth Lugo with a 221, Corbin Burns, number 3, 232, Tariq Skubal with Detroit, right? Mm-hmm. So again, Seth Lugo, Kansas City, number 4, Tariq Skubal, Detroit, 237, Ronel Blanco, Houston, 253, Ranger Suarez, very good pitcher with Philly, 258, Tanner Hawk, Boston, 268, Chris Sale, 271, Zach Wheeler for Philly, 274, and Jake Irvin, Washington Nationals, 280. Kansas City, Detroit, Washington, top 10 trash teams.
Mm-hmm.
They're pitchers, right? Those guys are going to find a new home. But I mean, it's a crazy thing. You got 2 guys out of Philly, 2 guys in Atlanta. I mean, it's crazy to think, and that kind of goes what I was talking about, is that out of those players, Chris Sale, you might know Ranger Suarez or Corbin Burns if you watch SportsCenter every night, but you don't have no big name. Zach Wheeler, maybe. There's no big name pitchers on sitting out there at the top of the league right now.
A lot of the big name pitchers are hurt,
right? And that's what I'm saying. It's a really weird year. It's a really weird year for pitching, because even if you go down for, you got Crochet at 308, Eric Fetty 313, and respectively 17 for Crochet and 19 for Fetty, and then Shota at 316, right? So I mean, it's where you don't have any stars, and you're hoping that by the time playoffs come around that they're on point. But I mean, it's a weird. You don't hear none of these crazy. Every year you heard, oh, it's like 2 no-hitters in a perfect game every year. We're halfway through the season. I think there was 1.
Yeah, it's very rare. I mean, I think the philosophy in pitching has changed in the last couple of years, where now it's like, oh, can you throw 100? All right, great, do that.
Yeah,
and there's not really pitching. It's more just I'm throwing the ball and I'm trying to challenge every batter, and that is not how you have to do it as a starting pitcher. You have to have different pitches and keep batters off center. Yeah. Exactly. So you keep them off balance, and that's what Reynaldo has done. He's learned how to do that through a good pitching organization. We know Atlanta has always produced pitchers, and if anybody goes over there, they become a really good pitcher, because they've had that for the last 30-something years. They've always done that. So I'm happy for him. I'm cheering for Atlanta. I hope they lose to the Dodgers, and the Dodgers win the World Series. Yeah,
a real World Series this time.
A real World Series. That's right. Not the COVID World Series. Anything else? Let's see. For the White Sox, everybody's going to get traded.
What's going to happen? Everyone's gone.
Tommy Pham is going to be gone. Eric Fetty is going to be gone. Crochet is going to be gone. Who else? Tommy Pham. Let's see. If you could trade Belly, not Belly. What's our left fielder makes $75 million.
I don't know, but listen.
Yeah.
If you're gonna say Tommy Pham, you got to go with Tommy Pham. You got to say Pham, like, bro. Come on, Pham.
Yeah, you got to trade on. Bring all the kids up. It's time. Let's see what we got in the minor leagues. I know our AA team has been killing it, doing great. AAA not so much. And A-ball is just struggling. So it's time to bring the kids up, see what you got, and get rid of these stupid contracts and another rebuild. So Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back with what you're watching, and we'll do that after a word from our sponsors.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride, so do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15
for 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
What up? It's Martin Moreno, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans Podcast.
Welcome back to the TCSF podcast with E-Rock and Big Z. We got JC Dynasty Fantasy Football down there from the lake house remotely. And you know what? It's that time to talk about what you're watching. What you're watching that is in sports. I'm literally all over the place.
You are, man. You know what's funny is that every time I hear that drop with Martin, I always think he was like, True. Hold on, let me see your shirt again. True Chicago. Okay, wait. Can I spell? That was my favorite. We're watching him have to do it. Like, it's like, wait a minute.
I'm like, read.
Like, right there. Just read the shirt. Read the shirt.
What is it with comics? Mikey O had the same thing. Mikey O was like, you have to look at the shirt. Yeah. Yeah.
It's too many words. It's too many words.
Hey, I fumble it all the time, so I understand. All right, JC, what are you watching that isn't sports?
I killed the season of The Bear.
Nice.
Watched all of that. I don't know. I thought this season was kind of lackluster.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got me?
Yeah, we got you. Agreed.
Other than The Bear, I've also been watching The Boys. Kind of a weird season on that too. Waiting for things to kick off on that, start getting a little more action packed, if you will, I guess. So hopefully in the next episode or two, that'll kick off. And I watched the new Axel Foley movie.
Oh, you beat me to it. What'd you think of it?
Yep.
Axel.
Didn't think it was great, but I think it did good service to the original. So like I said, to me, it wasn't like the greatest, reboot or sequel, if you will. But like I said, I think it did really good service. If like on a star rating out of 5, I'd give it like a 3.5. I thought it was very watchable. I thought it was a good movie, but like I said, it didn't blow me out of the water. I think it was better than the new Bad Smith.
We lost you there. It was better than what?
The new Bad Boys movie with Will Smith.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
The fourth one?
The fourth one?
Yeah, there's a new one where, I mean, Martin Lawrence just looks washed in this new one. He looks old, and it's Lethal Weapon, where he's always like, I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah.
But Martin Lawrence, you really are too old for this.
But look, here's the thing about Axel F, right? Look, you brought back Rosewood and Taggart, right? Taggart looks like he's about 157 years old, and it looks worse with the makeup, right? But I mean, like that.
I mean, Taggart looked bad in the original, but
yeah, I mean, but again, like that was the 80s old, right? Or like,
he
went into the 30s, right? Like that's how that's how it works. But Judge Reinhold, man, he looks rough. He looks like he's been through it. He looks like he ran through the 80s, just snorting up all that money he made from Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Beverly Hills Cop, and even when he was in the Santa Claus as the weird stepdad. He looks like he just fucking blew all that through one nostril and out the other, and he looks rough right now. Because hey, look, what do they always say? Black don't crack, because Eddie Murphy has looked 50 years old for the past like 30 years, right? He's looked exactly the same age forever. Once he was in like daddy daycare, that was his look forever, man. I don't know what it is. Smoothing the cracks. I don't know how they
I
make
gotta disagree, man. It looked like there was some Botox holding that thing afloat.
Hey,
because
but he's looked the same. He's looked the same.
His face looked a little puffy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like
I mean, but like I said, that's the same face. I mean, he doesn't look like that skinny guy. Because it's funny because I you know what I saw recently was someone says that the current iteration that we see of Dave Chappelle, where he's all swole, they're like, that's not the same guy. He was so skinny, this and that. I'm like, he disappeared for like 10 years, and all he did was smoke cigarettes and work out for 10. That's why his voice he got that, he got that smoker's voice, and he's all buff. Like he's probably sitting there benching with the cigarette hanging out his mouth, like
him and Carrot Top.
Well, I'm gonna give a shout out to one of my guys. One of my buddies, John Yalagan. I mean, growing up as a kid, I mean, skinny as a string bean, but now that he is a girl dad and has grown up, he put on the weight. He's looking more like a Kobe, if you will. So like I said, as you get older, so Dave Chappelle, I can believe he put on the weight. So like I said, as you get older, you put on the weight a little bit. So
that's just a conspiracy theory. That's a conspiracy theory of, like, hey, that's not the same guy. It's like how they replaced Mark Hamill from Star Wars, the first one to the second one. That's not the same actor. Or they replaced Paul McCartney. He's not the same singer. So it's all nonsense anyway. But yeah, that was a good call on the Axel F, man. That was the what we should talk about is hockey.
I know Mike Daly. Mike Logic is over here talking more hockey. I know, but we'll get to hockey next week. It's just been such a wild week with everything that we've been talking about.
No, we won't.
Another show. Speaking of hockey, there's a show, Canadian series called Shoresy. If you guys have never watched it, it's by the same guys that do the TV show Letterkenny.
Yeah.
It's on Hulu. So it's in season 3. They just came out with season 3. But it's about a Canadian hockey team it's like a men's league, the not juniors, but whatever, like it's an older kind of
rat leagues,
veteran team.
Rec league.
But hilarious show if you guys have never seen it. Speaking of hockey, if you've never seen it, definitely check out Shoresy on Hulu.
I find it says, Shoresy sees the foul-mouthed, chirp-serving, mother-loving, fan-favorite character Shoresy join a senior AAA hockey team in Sudbury on a quest to never lose again. Yeah, this is totally a Letterkenny type show. This is totally a Letterkenny on skates. Come on.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the characters, Shoresy, is from Letterkenny, and in like one of the last seasons of Letterkenny, he leaves Letterkenny to go to Sudbury, and then like this is the creators like branch off show, because they actually shut down Letterkenny. They're not doing that show anymore.
Yeah, I recognize this guy.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Letterkenny was so underrated. It was so underrated.
Oh, dude, you know what? One of my good friends doesn't like it, but I told him I'm like, dude, the genius of the writing and like how quick the commentary is. I mean, it's just you could watch it 30 times and catch something new, because some of their commentary is just so fast and quick-witted, that it's just like a back and forth. Like I said, you could watch it like 30 times and catch something new that you've missed. But like I said, if Shoresy, like it brings in almost like that major league, but hockey, if you will.
All right, I'll give that a shot. E, what are you watching that is in sports?
So funny enough, I actually had a very busy weekend on the 4th of July. We were supposed to have my wife's 2 cousins' families coming over. That's one family of 5, one family of 4, and I had 3 racks of ribs and 2 giant packs of chicken legs for the 4th of July cookout. And they were both like, oh, my tummy hurts. So there was literally out the morning of the 4th of July was going to be a dud, because I was just like, what am I going to do now? I got to cook all this food. I'm going to be by myself. I hit up the boys, and my guy, Alex, whose birthday is 4th of July, came through, and Juanito came through. So we chilled in the garage and we watched DVDs because the Wi-Fi doesn't reach out to the garage. So I got this old little TV with a couple of DVDs, and I'm sitting there watching. We were watching like old school Anchorman, all that stuff, and I'm like, thank God I kept all these DVDs. So funny enough, over the weekend, when I went to Goodwill, I picked up Hangover on DVD and something else on DVD so we could chill out there. But it was that, and then Thursday or Friday night was a impromptu. No, Thursday or Saturday night was another impromptu, like out till 2:30, 12:30 in the morning. And then last night was another one where I was hanging out with, like I said, DJ nonstop. Not to brag, even though that's Mike's boy, not mine. But it was cool to chill with him. So I spent a lot of weekend doing that. But the one show that I've been kind of sneaking in, and maybe it's just because I barbecue so much damn meat, was that Barbecue Showdown on Netflix. I don't know what it is. Like I said, most of what I watch is either music or cooking shows if it's not sports. So I was all about it. It was very entertaining to see like the different skills, the different levels, the different techniques. And one of the competitors on the show was very proficient in making Jamaican oxtails.
Okay.
And
That's
for
right up
those
your
of you who are either watching the show or planning on watching that because you like cooking competitions or whatever, that's as far as I'll go with that because it is a key to the show. But yeah, great, very entertaining show. Maddie Matheson from The Bear was on there on one episode as a guest judge. He's a great cook and the chef, and so that was the bulk. DVDs, parties, and Barbecue Showdown. That's how I spent my last week.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Let's see. I did watch Axel F, and today I fired up the Netflix. I haven't fired up Netflix in like 6 months. Yeah. I'm all about the Hulu and I got all Paramount. I got all of them. But I started watching this 6-part series. It is it's called Super Cell, SUPA Cell. So it is kind of it plays on sickle cell. Essentially, you have these metahumans, or they might be mutants. Who knows? You don't know at the beginning. And each episode goes on a different person, and there's 6 of them. And I'm on the last episode. I got about 15 minutes left, and it pretty good show. It's from London. They're in South London, and so you have a lot of Jamaican influence there and Nigerian influence there, and they're being hunted by this one organization that you have no idea what they are. It's pretty cool. It's only 6 episodes so far, and just to give you a little background, I guess it's a mutation from your parent who had sickle cell. So they had sickle cell, then you were born, and it doesn't mean you're gonna have sickle cell, but it's in your system, and they got the super gene out of it. So again, I just thought it was like #1 in the country shows that they had. I was like, yeah, I'll give it a chance, and I'm done with it.
You sheep.
But I'm definitely gonna watch the shows you guys recommended. The Boys has been pretty good. Waiting for that to come to a conclusion because it's the last season for The Boys. I know the high school series it will be going on. Let's see what else there is. I'm sorry.
Was it Gen Z or Gen X?
Gen Z, yeah.
No, Gen V. I'm sorry.
Gen V, yeah.
Well, the young man that was one of the characters, one of the actors, he had passed away in a motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what was weird too? Like for some reason, I think on the early in the morning on the 4th of July, I watched like all 3 Back to the Future, random as shit. I was like, oh, let me put this on. I don't know why. Maybe I just wanted to see the Cubs win the World Series again.
Well, actually, I think it was Michael J. Fox's 60th birthday, either yesterday or today.
Oh, then that's why I did it. Then that's why. Yeah. That's why.
You didn't know, but
he did know.
You got the mental gift. You know,
serendipity. Yeah, man. That's all me. The mental gift.
Speaking of Supercell, because that's also been popping up in my feed as something that's being watched pretty well. There was a show, and I can't remember the name of it, with John Cusack. It was, I believe, an Amazon show. When you were talking about Supercell, it kind of reminded me of that show that I watched. It only got 1 season from Amazon, but then there was a UK version which I was able to find like 2 more seasons. So I was able to watch like the UK version to see where they ended up going with the series.
Gotcha.
Because like I said, the American version, I really got into it. I thought it was a great show. But like I said, I'm trying to look up the name of the show as I'm speaking. Utopia. Utopia is the name of the show. It's an Amazon show. Only got one season, because it has to do with like pandemic and like all kinds of craziness. And it came out right as the pandemic hit. So Amazon was kind of like, we don't want to deal with this. Wash our hands of this. Like, one season, great, we're moving on. But like I said, if you guys have never watched that season one of Utopia, give that a shot, because it is a very weird kind of like thriller / murder / conspiracy TV show, and it's great.
Awesome.
If you're looking for something to watch, also American Psycho is on Netflix now, so that's always a good watch.
Always a good watch. Oh, speaking of American Psycho, I watched it's on Vice. It is the I think it's like 8 parts on Batman. So they go movie by movie and break it down. So starting with, Michael Keaton, and they go behind the scenes and talk about different things. And then they talk about, Batman Returns, they talk about the Penguin suit and, the casting of certain, individuals. And there was a lot of stuff I didn't know. They went through they went through the trilogy, the Chris Nolan trilogy. And that was pretty cool as well. A lot of stuff I didn't know and a lot of stuff I did know. But
you didn't know about Batman? There was things you didn't know about Batman?
About not about Batman, but as actors that fell off the horse in Batman 1. It wasn't Kim Basinger that they originally cast. It was another actress that I had no idea who her name was.
Someone called Bruce Wayne. This guy's a fraud.
All right, before we close out, I want to give a shout out to Jessica McCaskill, who has just officially retired from boxing, and she had a great career. She's a former guest. If you want to go ahead and look for that episode, it's a great episode. We interview her. So she's now doing more of the training and promoting along with her husband, Rick Ramos. So congratulations to Jessica McCaskill.
That's what's up. Yeah, very, very early guest of ours. Really cool. I still remember going to get her autograph up in the line at where was that? The hat store. What the hell was that? That's the South Side. But yeah. It was a
grandstand.
Grandstand. Good job.
Yep. There we go. Good job. Yeah, because my memory is shit. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening today. A big thank you to E-Rock for giving us his time. I know he's being the best girl dad out there. JC for chiming in from the lake house. Everybody that's been watching and listening, thank you very much. Episode 202 was phenomenal. So thank you to our sponsors, 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, and Grit Clothing Company. You know where to go to get your shirts. Go to gritclothingcompany.com. gritclothingco.com. I'm literally just blah. All right. Check out the newest shows on the 606 family. No Water on the Weekend with Steven and Sean, pop culture forward podcast that dabbles in funny trivia, film, and television and music. They post every Monday afternoon. Go ahead and check them out on all social podcast apps. Also check out my new adventure in Posicated with Big Z. There's a new episode out that just dropped today with recording artist Pinky Ring. She's Chicago born and raised. She also went to Lane Tech. She's a little young, about 4 years younger than us. So we were seniors and she was a freshman. A great episode. We talk about mental health. We talk about creation of music, how to persevere through the musical industry as being a woman, and a bunch of other stuff. Tons of laugh, tons of insight, and go ahead and check it out. It's on YouTube at the moment, and it'll be on every listening platform tomorrow morning. Remember to listen, subscribe, and share. And thank you to my co-host, and we'll see you next time for episode 203. And until then, be good to each other for the love of sports.
Swish.